Hello and welcome to our latest pad video. So today we thought it was helpful to make a video on this 2013 Volkswagen Passat. It has the 3.6 liter V6 engine. I think old school we'd call it a VR6, but anyway, the 3.6 liter V6 engine code CDVB, like Charlie Delta Victor Bravo. That's the engine code. Car was towed into us. Client stated that it had rough running, misfires, and also very low power. So the car gets here, it has multiple misfire codes, but the biggest thing is it has cam and crank correlation codes, and maybe we can put those fault code numbers in the description. But cam and crank correlation codes, engine's noisy, rattling, and it is running rough. So we've got the engine supported across the top, we got the transmission out, and we've got the timing covers off. So we'll show you what we found. So we've got the timing covers and oil pan. Once those components were removed, we haven't touched anything else. So you'll see it just as we found it. So if you come in here, this is the timing chain that turns the cam shafts up here. You got an intake and exhaust cam. So that chain turns the cam. This chain right here turns the oil pump. All right, so what you can see is this. First of all, let's start at the bottom. We found all this broken timing chain guide. All it's just plastic. It's just broken plastic. Clogged up right there. And the biggest thing is there's supposed to be a guide similar to this one here. So you can see there is no guide here at all. It is completely gone. There should be a plastic guide there. And when we get the new components on, we'll bring back the video and we'll show you. So the chain's just been riding on these metal studs. So we're going to replace those studs. Of course, the chain, the guides, this tensioner here. We're going to replace this chain, this sprocket as well. And these guides, you can see that one's broken right there as well. That guide is broken. It's just that plastic's just kind of hanging in there. But anyway, there's your tensioner guide for the cam chain. And also a fuel pump sprocket up here. Can't really see it at the moment, but we're going to replace it as well. And there's a roller tappet that actually operates the fuel pump. We'll replace it. So once we get it out, maybe we'll show that to you, but there's a roller tappet and a fuel pump sprocket. We'll replace those. This sprocket, all the chains, guides, tensioners. Now on the bottom side here, here's where the oil pump pulls oil. This is the little kind of a rough textured screen. And all the broken plastic pieces become lodged in here. You can see as they're them falling out, but there's more plastic pieces here because this is like a vacuum. That can create a low oil pressure issue, which, as we know, creates more detrimental problems down the road. So we're going to take this off, flush this out, replace the seal, and we're going to take you over to the workbench and show you what we found in the oil pan. Okay, so here's the transmission out of the car. And while it's out, we're going to perform a fluid and filter service. This DSG or direct shift gearbox. We'll drain the fluid, replace this cartridge filter on top. But here's the oil pan that come out of the car, and you can see inside what we found. Look at all the plastic pieces. Those are those broken up guides just collecting in the oil pan, just waiting to clog up that oil pickup screen and then create a low or no oil pressure problem. So we got all this to clean out, and if you notice on the front side, here's where the drain plug is. You can see the threads are really screwed up on it. So I don't know if we can fix this or if we have to replace the pan. That is to be determined. It looks like someone has tried to rethread this in the past at some point, but we'll see what we can do. But anyway, the client's very, very lucky that the car hadn't jumped time to the point where it's bending valves, you know, and creating a cylinder head removal issue, or even worse, clogged up the screen and had no oil pressure while driving. So anyway, once we get all this cleaned up, we'll get the new parts on, and we'll bring you back and show you what it looks like with the new pieces. All right, so now we've got the new timing chain components installed. So I'm going to show you here what this looks like with new components. So you can see this is the guide rail that was completely disintegrated and missing. It was all in the bottom of the oil pan. So we got a new guide rail here. These two bolts here are new because the chain had eaten into the old ones. We've got a new tensioner. This chain and tensioner and guide rail controls the oil pump here. And from here up to the camshafts, this chain controls the camshafts up here. So we've also put a tensioner guide here, a rail here. Let's replace the tensioner itself, the chain tensioner for this one. We did not replace these camshaft sprockets. They look to be in good shape right now. I don't see any issues with those. But we did replace the fuel pump sprocket, which is up here. I guess it's probably impossible to see from this camera angle, but fuel pump sprocket, we have to remove the high pressure fuel pump, slide this pin out, and then the sprocket comes out. We also replaced this intermediate sprocket here for the oil pump. So the only two we did not replace are those up there. Don't seem to be having any trouble out of those at the moment. We are going to replace this little coolant nipple here. It's very brittle. I know that I can see that being a coolant leak very soon. Also, this is the oil pump pickup tube right here. This was full of plastic material. So I cleaned it out really well, took some compressed air, got all the plastic out of there. So I'm gonna put a new seal here. We'll put it back in place. The oil pan is clean. We'll install the new timing covers and put it all back together. So that'll be the completion of this job. So anyway, hope this is helpful to our client. Hope it's helpful to our viewers. And thank you for watching the latest pad video.